Hello YouTube, long time no see. I feel like I haven't been here in a very long time, which I wasn't. I believe last time I uploaded was like summer or spring or something, I don't know. We're now mid-January. It's a pretty cold day today. I would say, I don't know, it's like -20, but it's pretty sunny. It's very pretty. I'll try and like show you some of the outdoors in the cut stuff. But I missed recording and I missed talking, and I have quite a bit of knitting done, and I'd like to, I guess, update and catch up and do a little bit of that. I have my tea. Hold on, it's steeping. I have my tea with me in a very pretty cup. This is the set I actually pretty much stole from my mom. One of the times I was home, I just really like it, and I know she got it a while back. I think it's like a German set. She was in Germany and just got the set, and I really love it. I think it could be Christmassy, it could be spring, it could be anything, so I really like it. And when I have the occasion, I try and like drink out of it. Today is probably one of the occasions. It's a very cold day, so I've done pretty much everything to stay cozy, and I think it's a good day to talk about knitting. As I said, we're mid-January. In December I did very little knitting and mostly baking. I'll try and put some of the stuff in the video of the things that I baked. So that was kind of like my focus, since I've done like gift boxes, like cookie gift boxes for my family. So I've done a lot of that, lots of life changes, but you know, I'm not gonna bore you with the details, who cares? I guess we're just here to talk about knitting, and this is what I'm gonna be doing mostly. I will start with some FOs, like finished objects, obviously. Maybe you kind of gathered from the few videos that I've uploaded, I am a creature of habit and I don't really stray away from what I really like. So I continued with my journey of like reusing patterns and just like switching up the yarns. My first finished object would be the sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've done this one in cream, and I believe I've showed that to you in the last video. And this time I've done a version in blue. So my intention was to actually make it bigger and longer. However, after blocking, it shrunk quite a bit, and it kind of became the same size as my previous one. But as my previous one, I really liked. I had a strand of mohair and a strand of wool, and I don't find it as soft as my cream version, but I really like it. What I do, I basically have like a white shirt underneath, and I put this on top, and I really like it. Some of the lessons learned, I think I would have made my sleeves a little bit larger in terms of like width. I just find them a little bit too tight. But other than that, obviously, like, I want it bigger and longer. As you see, I like my bulky style sweaters, and I like, you know, like things fitting a little bit bigger on me. I just find it looks better on my body. However, I will show you another extreme where I made things a little bit too bulky for me, and then it's hard to wear as well. But anyway, for now, this is sweater number 18 by my favorite things knitwear. I really like it. I will insert some pictures so you see how it looks on me, and just if you want to see a little bit more like pictures of all the things that I'm like talking about, go on to my Instagram. It's all, or Yarns Considered, I think that's my handle. I don't know, but I'll link it below. You can find it in Instagram. I am able to like post things as I like knit and like kind of like the finished object, so I'm trying to be a little bit more updated there in Instagram rather than here. As you know, I find filming myself quite awkward, and editing is just a nightmare for me. So probably that's why I haven't uploaded in so long. But you know, plowing through this, act confident, no one will question you kind of thing. My next finished object would be the mohair version of the Sunday sweater by Knitt. Surprise, surprise. For this, I actually had the Sunday sweater, like she has two patterns. She has the mohair version, and then she has the like normal kind of like wool version of the sweater. I had purchased the pattern for her wool version, and I didn't purchase the one in mohair. I kind of like started winging it. I thought it's kind of like a top-down sweater, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem, which it wasn't. I made it in mohair, 2 strands. Sorry, it was kind of like it was packed, and I wanted to show you, but it's a little bit wrinkly. Again, I will show you maybe like I'll clip a picture of how it looks on me. I really like it. I made it slightly shorter than I should have. It's the typical problem that I have. I think I'm just also like learning all this yarn that I have. I find that a lot of things shrink like from top to down, or like I guess like height wise rather than width wise, or height wise, yeah, anyway, then width wise. So then I don't know, I just like keep making these things very short for myself. I should probably learn from that. And I was talking to my aunt actually about it, and she did say that some of these yarns will shrink like that. I forget what fiber she told me that usually does that, and I should probably keep that in mind, but I don't. So I make mistakes and then I regret it. But not in this case. Like I can still, like my intention with this sweater was to pair it with kind of like high waisted skirts. Like I was envisioning kind of like a pencil skirt that I can have it with this, and the sleeves are quite loose, so then everything is kind of like airy and bubbly and nice. And then I have like this like very you know, straight pencil skirt, or it doesn't have to be pencil skirt, I guess. It could be like any kind of other contrasting color skirt maybe, or even pants, I don't know. But the idea was that it would be high-waisted, so the height of it and the length of it doesn't really matter too much. So in this case, I'm not too worried about it. The problem with it is that it's quite itchy, and the idea was to wear it only with my undergarment on and then like this on. I just like that look a lot, and I can probably resist a couple of hours in it, but after a while I just start itching all over the place. It's more hair, you know. So but very pretty color. I find it translates quite well in this video, and yeah, I quite like it. Nothing really say. Oh, the reason why I didn't really use the pattern that Knitt had, is that I bought this book It's called Top Down Sweaters, Basic Designs in Multiple Sizes and Gauges by Ann Budd. Basically was recommended to me in Amazon, and it's all about learning how to do all sorts of sweaters top down. In my opinion, they're the easiest. You kind of like make the yoke and then you just knit as long as you want, and you make your sleeves the way you want, and there's not much fuss about it. And then there's she talks about different kinds of the top down sweaters. So this kind of mohair version of the Sunday sweater by Knitt was my first experiment into like not having a pattern, kind of having a similar pattern that I can kind of gauge, but the idea was not to rely too much on patterns and try and figure out things myself. So this was it. And part of my, I guess, like Christmas knitting, although as I said, I didn't do a lot of knitting for like gifts or anything at Christmas, I did more baking, cookies and such. I started in November and I just like kept piling them on into my freezer. So it's quite tempting all the time to have all the cookies in my freezer, and it's like just a minute away of like just defrosting it and eating it. Anyway. I find baking relaxes me. Well, knitting relaxes me. I guess I just engage a lot in activities that are relaxing, and baking, knitting, reading, these are all things that kind of calm my mind. So I really like that. But anyway, back to knitting. So I did make a pair of socks, and it was initially for a different member of my family, but then my boyfriend saw me knitting them and he kind of called dibs, and he really likes them. So this, again, it's like one of like those like experiments slash mistakes. I started this as the morning coffee pattern from the 52 Weeks of Socks by Lane magazine. I started with that, but then I got so confused on the pattern that I just couldn't keep up. Either I was tired that day. It was like basically it was supposed to be these guys, and they're pretty and they look good, and they are using two different colors. They're not very contrasting, but they go kind of in this ombre effect from like dark to light. And I just couldn't wrap my head around how this pattern works and how these colors change. And I just gave up. I spent I think a day, and I was just not in the probably correct mindset to figure it out. So I just kind of gave up. However, I did start the toe of the sock, and I really like the way the designer, which is, I should tell you, hold on, because give credit when credit is due. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so they're called, I told you, Morning Coffee, and they're by Valentina Consalvi. Anyway, you can find them on Ravelry. I did find them. And I saw people like, you know how like on Ravelry you can like go and like see people's projects, and I saw people like doing this, making this pattern and knitting it and like having no problem. So I think I just wasn't in the correct mindset, and I just couldn't figure out the pattern at that point. I think if I give myself a chance and go back, I'll be able to figure out and do it. But I was just like not taking it at that point. So I did the toe the way the pattern called. I forget what the toe type is. But basically it's like German short rows. You go back and forth, and then you just like make this very seamless type of sock toe, which I really like. I think I'll keep using, especially for the toe. The heel is also like that, and I do like it. However, I do find that the heel wears really fast for me and anyone that I know. So if I like make the heel, I like the construction for the vanilla socks, I believe, that I made before. They seem a little bit more like structured and sturdy, a little bit more fabric in the heel area. So I might just combine the toe from the morning coffee pattern and then the heel from, I don't know, like I think it was vanilla socks. And then the here, obviously you can make any pattern you want. This was a 2x2 rib, just because I just didn't know the width of that person's foot, and I just did it, but it didn't matter because, you know, Andrew ended up wearing them anyway. So yeah, he really likes them. I made them, I blocked them. This is like kind of like a cotton wool blend, and it's really nice. I find the color is like really pretty, and you can go with anything you're wearing. Really like them. And I had the exact same pair in a green that I made, and I gifted that. I will insert a picture because I do have a picture of those that I could share. Another gift that I made was an inspiration by Knitt again. Sorry if you're not into it, but this is like my style and I really like it. So she influenced me, I guess Instagram came up with this Sophie scarf pattern. It's basically this like very long scarf that you make in rib pattern. I think that's what's called. I don't know, as you know, I don't really know the terminology very well. I just kind of like knit. It's exactly like this, but much bigger. So she has two versions. She has a small one, which is this, and then she has like a bigger, like wider, longer scarf. And I made that one and I gifted that one, and I really, really liked it because I just found that it was like so easy to make. I didn't purchase the pattern again. I just YouTubed how to make the beginning and how to make, you know, the edge. I don't think there's much to this pattern, so I just kind of like, again, tried to teach myself some basic things, and I just YouTubed how to do certain things, and I just kind of like did it. And then I made for myself the smaller version because I really like turtlenecks a lot, but then I have like obviously limited number of them, and I don't want to be wearing the same thing all the time. And again, being -20, I kind of want something like very tight to my neck, so then it's warm, and then I could add a bigger shawl after. But I find that if I go outside and it's very windy and I have this big shawl around me, but you know, wind is wind, and then kind of if you're walking and you're moving, you create this cavity between your neck and your coat, and then the wind gets in there. So I wanted something that I can, you know, like wrap around my neck, which I usually do, and go outside and not have that issue. And this is like probably the best thing I've like ever knitted for myself this season. I think I'm gonna make a couple in different colors, although I really, really like this color. But yeah, I think I wear it pretty much every day. I go out with my dog for a walk, so it's very important that I'm nice and warm in these freezing temperatures, and this stuff really helps me. So these are kind of like my finished objects. I have more, but I thought for the first video back, I'll keep it short and sweet, and next time I'll address anything else that I might, you know, have. One semi-finished object is another version of the Champagne cardigan by Knitt. And this is the example that I wanted to show you that is like kind of like on the other side of my oversized obsession with things. I made this humongous, I think I made size medium, okay? But either the yarn or the needle size. No, I'm pretty sure the yarn. The yarn is this. It's very popular these days. It's like this uneven yarn strand. And I paired it in two, so I had like kind of like two going on. Very warm, slightly itchy, but it doesn't really matter for a cardigan. And I made this humongous cardigan, and I was hoping that in blocking it will kind of like shrink, which it did, but as I said, not in the directions that I wanted. So it's still very, very wide, but it's not as long. So I'm gonna, maybe next time I will take pictures in it and show it to you. It's very cozy and I really like it. And it was so easy and pleasurable to like knit on, and it's just like, the color is awesome. It has like these orange and purple speckles in it, and I really, really like that. But it's just like it's falling off me because it's just so big. So my solution for that is to try and maybe have like a belt that I can tie around and just kind of have it more of a, I don't know, like, it's not really like a cardigan, but it's like more something that I can like tie. And I purposely didn't want any pockets or anything with it because I just find it like would have made it even like more like bulky and like big. So I will make the belt and then I will take pictures and then I'll show you and update you on my, I don't know, feel for it, I guess. But this is what I've done. And then now for the whips that I have, I don't have much these days. Like I'm doing the belt for this guy, which I haven't even started. But I've made this summer the slippers. They're called the Elve Slippers. They look like this. Very pretty. They're by Casa Burela. Sorry if I butcher your name. But again, I found it in the 52 weeks of socks, and I did make them in like my version in the summer, and I love them. They're more like of a spring slipper, like they're not very warm. So basically you just like, you know, insert your foot in there and wear them. They're kind of like sock slipper. And I really love them. I wear them all the time. It's just not in the winter because they're just not as warm. But he wanted something for the winter, and he wanted, and he liked that design too. So I started it. I started it yesterday. So it's quite a fast knit. Like I don't think it's like a very hard knit. I really like the pattern. He chose his own type of yarn. It's basically this dark blue. It reads more like a black in this video I see, and then more heathered, I don't know, like taupey, not taupey, like cream color I'd see. But it's a very nice contrast, and you can kind of like tell the pattern very well. And as I said, it's easy to knit, and I don't know, the yarn, like I've made everything double to ensure that this would be more of a slipper, like structured slipper rather than a sock. And I wanted this to be like nice and cozy and warm. So it's, the way it comes out, it's quite sturdy and thick. So I think it's gonna work really well. So I'm hoping I can be done quite soon and then take pictures and show to you, but we'll see. I always say these things and then, you know, 9 months later I just still don't do things. So that's basically it for my whips. If I have a couple of things in mind, like we are coffee drinkers in this house and we do French press for our coffee in the morning, and I just find I'm a very slow like drinker in general. Like I poured a glass of or a cup of tea and I still didn't even sip it. So give me a second. Yeah, very slow drinker. So by the time I have like my little coffee, the pod itself gets very cold. I prefer for my coffee, I don't like a lot of coffee. Like I don't drink coffee after 12 because I just can't sleep after that. But I do prefer quantity over kind of like the shots, like espresso shots. Like I like to sit with my cup and like think about it and read and do whatever, and then like maybe pour a little bit more, take my time basically. So point is, our French press gets very cold, well, not very fast, but it gets cold in this whole like amount of time that I'm like la-di-da-di in the morning. So I want to make a coffee pot cozy, and I did look up some of them on Ravelry. I found like very cool ones. I just don't think I'll bother with like anything that has like cables in it. And I do like the look of that, but I also like think of like the practicality. So I think I'm just gonna have either a rib cozy that it's just gonna be simple and I just have to like figure out the yarn for that, or I'm just gonna do like a stockinette typical thing. I'm just not gonna bother too much with it. I'm still being drilled about making a poncho, so we kind of figure out the colors he wants, and I'm gonna try and figure out a poncho for him. The only like hard rule that I had, I'm not buying more yarn. I have so much yarn, it's just bonkers, and I need to be able to use all that I have and the knits that I have. So I just basically limited the design to only the colors that I have. So obviously like I don't have a lot of like bright and colors that usually like ponchos would like come with. Stay tuned for that. Maybe I did make a little sample and he just didn't like it, so I'll have to make something else and like show the color combination so then he understands. I also purchased the Marseille sweater by Petite Knit. I have been thinking about making something exactly like that for a very long time, so I just really want to make that sweater for myself, and I just got the pattern but I didn't start it. We'll see. And then I really want to make a blanket. I feel like we have two blankets, one that it was like my first project that I started like knitting because I wanted to see if I would be even into this hobby, and I didn't want to purchase anything expensive. So I had this like, I don't know, yarn that I found, I don't even know, like a thrift store or something, and it's like all plasticky and it has a lot of like, I don't know, just like not the best fiber, but we still use it quite a bit and it's around. So I was thinking like maybe I can replace that with something a little bit more interesting in terms of the yarn itself. And I like simple things, so I don't particularly think that I'm gonna go for anything like cables or anything intricate. I just want something simple, something that it's gonna give the satisfaction of warmth when you're watching TV and chilling. So these are kind of my overall items that I've done, that I'm thinking about. I've been talking for 30 minutes, so I think that's enough. As always, I would like to say that I will upload videos more often, but the reality of life is just, I don't know, it just doesn't happen. So I'm not gonna promise anything. When it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If you wanna hang out with me more and see how are things, subscribe to my channel, I guess, give a thumbs up so I know that you watched this and it's not awful. Yeah, but that's basically it. That's it. Bye.